Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive into left center field. Stanley's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a
Take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody.
At the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. Nova.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
You shook up the world again.
I did it again. But God did it, man. I really just had
Gonna have to. Brunson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right. Welcome to the show. Episode 840 of the podcast. The Yankees lose the second series of their season. So the honeymoon period is over. We're into the thick of it now. They swept Milwaukee. They lose 2 out of 3 to Arizona. The bullpen slips up a bit. The bats quiet down. And just like that, the torpedo noise is gone within 24 hours. God, I'm glad that's over. But the Yankees were able to salvage the series and avoid the sweep today. And for as bad as they were offensively in this series, and my goodness, were they bad, they still figured out a way to produce 17 runs. 5 in the first game, 3 in the second, 9 on Thursday today. So that's an average of 5.7 per game. So it, might not be the best series for them, but again, for as ugly as it looked, they got the job done today. And you know what? This is, last year they got off to a hot start. It lasted a little bit longer. Maybe it's best to not dominate out the gate this year. Maybe you don't want the hard crash in the second half. You just want more steady consistency. So maybe that's what we'll get. We'll get more slow and steady. They won 4-2 on the homestand. That's solid. You just want to win series. So hopefully they bounce back against Pittsburgh. But we are going to dive into this series against the Diamondbacks, where the Yankees finished up their homestand on a victory. So they lose 2 out of 3 to the Snakes, but they salvage it. And with that said, what we're going to do is the usual. If you are new here, we are going to dive into the series, recap all 3 games, and then talk about some storylines that are important to me afterwards. So with that said, let's start with the first game of the series, which took place on Tuesday. The Yankees lost this game 7-5 on Tuesday. It was the righty Will Warren going up against the righty ace Corbin Burnes. Will Warren ends up tossing 5 strong. Goes longer than Burnes did. Just gives up that 2-run home run to Corbin Carroll in the top of the 3rd inning. The bullpen comes in after that. 4 innings, 5 runs, 7 strikeouts. Fernando Cruz, first in relief, was fantastic in the 6th and in the 7th. But Tim Hill and Mark Leiter Jr. lose the game in the 8th inning. And we'll talk more on the specifics of that later. But basically, Arizona puts 5 on base, and all 5 of them end up scoring in the inning. Suarez obviously hits the grand slam off Leiter. Ottavino and Hedrick were the only other 2 relievers in the game, and they pitched fine. Welcome back out on Ottavino. League minimum contract, whatever. Righty comes in, throws that slider, righty on righty, fine. Low leverage, medium leverage, fine. Offensively in this game, the Yankees score 5 runs on 5 hits, 3 home runs, 3 walks, 14 strikeouts. No double plays grounded into. Against Corbin Burns, they scored 4 of those 5 runs in the 4 1/3 that he went. 2 of them were earned. Bottom 3, the Yanks are down 2-0. Dominguez hits a solo shot. Bottom 4, the Yanks take a 4-3 lead when Volpe pulls an inside fastball for a homer. Wells and Dominguez score. It was an E3 between Naylor and Burns. That was the big breakthrough for the Yankees there. And then they get one more on the Arizona bullpen in 4 2/3, where in the bottom of the 9th, they're down 7-4. Ben Rice hits the garbage time solo home run off of a lefty, though, so that was a good sign. He goes 2 for 4 in the game, RBI, double homer. Dominguez goes 2 for 3, RBI, base hit, home run. The Yankees in the game go 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. No sac flies. So a tough offensive game. Some Boone stuff from this Tuesday game. They had their versus left-handed pitcher lineup out there, where Goldie was leading off and Judge was batting 3rd, which means Wells was 6th, because Burns is a reverse splits guy with that cutter changeup combination that he likes going to against lefties with. Also, he pulls Dominguez for Grisham again late in this game. We will talk about that. We'll talk about the pinch hit, bringing in Pablo Reyes in the 9th over Cabrera for the last at-bat of the game. And, of course, he goes to Mark Leiter Jr. with Devin Williams still in paternity leave. He goes to Mark Leiter Jr. with D-Will out, and he stays with them throughout the entire 8th inning. Now, you don't have Devin Williams, so, you know, do you want to already start using Luke Weaver for 2 innings? You had to do that tonight. Do you want to do that? I don't know. I think Boone wanted to get the ground ball. You know, we had a man on first base. Let's go to a guy who's got a splitter, who can get ground balls, and let's try to build confidence in Mark Leiter. You know, he had a good World Series. You know, we want him to be a big part of the team. A lot of Yankees fans gave him shit for this move. I didn't. However, you know, I am high on Leiter myself. I think he's got some upside. I like what he did in the playoffs. I think this stuff is there. He's got the name brand, obviously. But, you know, I get the case that, like, in money time, when you need outs and you need your best out there, probably go to your best weapon. You know, Leiter's as good as the stuff can look when he's on. He's not proven that he can get consistent, that he can get outs consistently yet. You know, and he is an aging veteran. It's not like this is a young pitcher. So that's the other side of it. But I have another issue with Leiter and the Yankee bullpen, which we'll talk about more later in the show. My big issue wasn't Boone going to Leiter here. It was some other things regarding this bullpen. But that was game 1. The Yankees lose by a score of 7-5. On Wednesday, why am I lagging here? Hold on a sec. Are we good? Yeah, we're good. On Wednesday, the Yankees, let's see. We good? Should be. I don't know what is going on with my tablet tonight, but it is acting up. Hopefully we can get through this episode and I don't have to record again. We'll see. Yesterday, the Yankees lose 4-3. It was the lefty Carlos Rodon versus the righty Zach Gallen. Rodon, will start with him. He goes 6 innings in this game. Issues 4 runs on 3 hits, 4 walks, gives up 1 home run, takes the loss. Kind of the same trend. You know, it was less fastball. and more off speed. That's because his fastball has and continues to get slugged the last couple of years. And, when you throw 95 in the zone, it's not a good recipe for success. And his velocity was also down too, even more. But he went more to his off speed. So with that, he threw more pitches outside the zone because he was going to off speed and breaking. And when you do that, you're going to surrender walks. And so in the top of the first inning, he's ahead 0-2 to Marte, and he gives him 4 consecutive off speed pitches out of the zone to walk him. 2 at-bats later, he gives up the Gurriel 2-run home run to make it 2-zip. He goes 94 upstairs. Again, you cannot survive in today's game going 94 upstairs unless you're precisely locating your breaking balls and your off-speed pitches. And even then, you're not going to get away with that. And so the 4-seamer in this game, I just didn't think was effective. The broadcast team was blaming the weather, of course, but Zach Gallen didn't have a problem with his stuff. But yeah, it had low velocity, even lower than the normal 95. It was like 93, 92. Low spin. I checked the numbers on it. They weren't great. Didn't get a lot of whiffs. It was poorly located, and he issued a lot of hard hit balls because of it. Top of the second inning, he issues a walk to Suarez on 4 pitches, throwing his 4-seamer and changeup out of the zone. And then he hangs a changeup to Marino for a base hit. And then later in the inning with the runner in scoring position, he goes 93-mile-an-hour fastball, middle of the plate to Ketel Marte for an RBI base hit to make it 4-zip. So right away, just bad out the gate. Didn't look great. Body language was off. Eventually settled in and retired what I think was 10 in a row. I think it was 10 in a row, maybe even more at some point. But gets through the remaining 4 innings unscathed. But he just, he found it way too late. And that 4-seam is becoming an issue for him. The slider in this game had no command, but it was still the best pitch for him. It held the Diamondbacks hitless on that pitch. He got some good swing and misses with it. The sinker, he leaned into it less than he did in his first start. That's a pitch that's going to become important for him, with that 4-seam fastball becoming less and less effective. I think he's healthy. He took that, was a 115 line drive off the arm. X-rays came back clean. 2 injury scares and 2 starts for Rodon. That's not good. He's important. We're going to need him healthy. But I think the one positive takeaway you can grab from this is the fact that he didn't, like in the past when things aren't going his way and the pitch comm's not working and the ball is slippery and he's slipping off the mound, there were a lot of things going wrong. You could tell the body language wasn't right. In the past, he lets that unravel him and he just turns it into a complete disaster of a start. He didn't let that happen this time, and he got through 6 innings, 4-run ball. So at least that's the positive takeaway. And then it's the rookie Gomez, who came into the game after Rodon. I don't care too much about his performance because it was during a 4-run blowout, but he was huge, being that he saved the entire bullpen by giving the Yankees 3 innings of work. The Yankees did not have to go to their bullpen in this game. It was just Yogo for 3. So that was important. Offensively, the Bats produced 3 runs on 6 hits, 1 home run, no walks, 16 strikeouts. Those 2 numbers, not good. 1 for 4 with runners in score position. Zach Gallen goes 6 2/3 on them. They don't score a single run. He sliced the Yankees up all night. 13 of the 16 strikeouts were from Gallen. Just a terrible approach with no adjustments made. As Gallen got more comfortable as the game progressed, the Yankees just sat fastball and were picked apart with off-speed and breaking pitches. The changeup, but of course the curveball. The curveball dominated the Yankees. I mean, from the very get-go. Bottom of the first inning, you got Judge going down swinging on a curve. Bottom of the second inning, you got two guys on base. Dominguez strikes out swinging on a curveball in the dirt. Ben Rice strikes out swinging on a curve near the dirt. He foul tips it. Bottom three, Cabrera and Bellinger. Same way, same pitch. Bottom five, Dominguez and Rice. Same thing. Bottom six, Cabrera and Judge. Same thing. Curve in the dirt, swinging strike three. Bottom seven, Volpe. Same exact thing. He just kept spamming that curveball. Couple of effective changeups in there that got Goldie and Jazz striking out looking. Changeup low in the zone. Just picking them apart. And the only Yankee who was semi-effective was Austin Wells, who was 2 for 4, and the only Yankee to not strike out in the game. Volpe goes 3-run home run in the ninth inning there to come within 1, but by then it was too late. And so the Yankees lose that game by a score of 4-3. And that's game 2, which took place yesterday, Wednesday. Game 3 of the series, the Yankees bounced back to salvage the series with a 9-7 win over the D-backs. You had Carlos Carrasco going up against Merrill Kelly. I remember him starting in the World Baseball Classic a couple years ago, or last year. The Yankee bats produced 9 runs on 12 hits, 3 home runs, 5 walks, 7 strikeouts. Did not ground into a double play. Knock on wood, they've not grounded into any double plays so far this year. Obviously, the strikeouts are up, the double plays are down. It's a big analytics thing, but that's a positive. 3 for 9 with runners in scoring position. This was the punt lineup that Boone threw out there, and he let Yankees fans know, if you watch the John Boy interviews, he said on Tuesday before the series began that he was going to sit Wells in this game, and they said on the telecast yesterday that Goldschmidt would also not be playing today. So expected, but he goes with the punt lineup, and they produced their best game of the series against Merrill Kelly by scoring 9 runs on him in 3 2/3 innings. Bottom of the first inning, Judge 3-run blast, Grisham RBI double. It's 4-0. Bottom 3, Grisham 2-run home run. It's 6-1. Bottom 4, Judge RBI base hit 7-3. Jazz 2-run home run, flips the bat 9-3. Against the Arizona bullpen, the Yankees calmed down, 0 runs in 4 1/3, but the bats did enough. Judge goes 3 for 5, home run, double, 4 RBIs. Rice goes 1 for 3, double, couple of walks. Dominguez 2 for 5, double. Grisham 3 for 4, home run, 3 RBIs. He has not swung and missed yet this season, knock on wood. And JC Escarra doubled his first big league hit, doubled down the right field line in the bottom of the 7th with 2 outs. Moves the runner to the 3rd. That was nice to see. He was all smiles afterwards. Obviously, the kid's got a great story, so that was nice. On the mound in this game for the Yanks, Carlos Carrasco, 5 1/3 innings, 3 runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, no home runs, allowed 82 pitches and got the win. I thought Carrasco gave the Yankees much more than you could have asked for. I did not expect this. I mentioned it on the podcast and in a recent blog that for as long as Carlos Carrasco is with this group, it's got to be less fastball and more off-speed and breaking pitches, because the fastball, his four-seamer, his sinker are bad pitches for him. And he did exactly that in this game. He relied on off-speed and stayed away from the middle of the plate. He was 35% slider, 24% changeup, 20% sinker, 13% four-seam, 6% curve, and 1% sweeper. But actually, both the four-seamer and sinker were pretty effective for him. And I think the fact that he used it lesser than usual helped. But I thought the changeup was probably his best weapon. He stayed away from the middle of the plate with that changeup. He went into lefties, kind of front-doored it. And he had a couple outside ones to lefties with it too. that was a good pitch for him. The slider was kind of the one pitch that was hit around. Top of the second inning, he lost the zone with the slider to Naylor to issue a walk. Then he hangs one to Suarez for a double. Run ends up scoring on a ground out the next at-bat. Top of the fourth inning, Gurriel with an RBI double off of a slider that was a little low in the zone. It wasn't a bad pitch. But that was the one pitch that got damaged in this game from Carlos Carrasco, really. But all in all, again, he was not bad. This was not what I expected against the top Arizona lineup, probably the best lineup in the National League last year. Arguably even better, even without Christian Walker this year. Yeah, that's impressive. I said multiple times already, if Carlos Carrasco keeps the Yankees in the game for as long as he's here, that's a win. And he did more than that in this game. He actually got the win. So good for Carrasco. I like seeing that. He's an easy guy to root for. In the bullpen, everybody in the bullpen except for Ryan Yarbrough was very effective. Top of the seventh, the Yankees entered the inning up 9-3. Yarborough's in the game, completely loses the zone with his fastball and changeup to walk the first couple of batters. Blake comes out to visit. Then he gives up an RBI base hit to Corbin Carroll off of a curveball. And then you get the Perdomo grand slam where he just gives him an 89-mile-an-hour floater, if you could even call it a four-seam fastball, in the middle of the plate, or it's up in the zone, really. And Perdomo slugs it for a grand slam to pull it to 9-7. So his final line, 2/3 of an inning, 4 runs, 2 hits, a home run, 2 walks, no strikeouts. Everybody else, Ottavino, Leiter, Weaver, pitched scoreless frames across 3 innings. So that's your series right there. Those are your 3 games. The Yankees salvage it. Want to talk more about this series when I come back. And we have a few things to discuss. So stay with us. I just spit on the mic, but stay with us. We'll be right back in just a sec. BD4 is available on social media for those who want to follow. You can find BD4 on Instagram at BD4Pod. You can find us on X at BD4Pod. And you can find us on Facebook by simply searching BD4. Hey guys, just a quick reminder, this podcast is also available in video format on YouTube. So be sure to go over to the YouTube channel, BD4, subscribe, like the videos, comment, and tell me how much I suck or maybe how much you like the video. We'd very much appreciate it. Okay. Welcome back to the show, episode 840 of the podcast. The Yanks snake-bitten by the D-backs in this series, but they salvage it. And I think one of the bigger takeaways is got to be one of the things we're going to be, I have a feeling it's going to be a constant theme this year. But you saw it really exploited in this series. The lack of a right-handed power bat was creating those lefty lanes for Torey Lovullo to go to. On Tuesday, Jasson Dominguez gets pulled late in the game for Trent Grisham as a defensive replacement. Whatever. I'm not going to harp on it too much, but what it does, it takes away Dominguez's bat, but it creates a lane of 3 consecutive lefties in Wells, Grisham, Rice for Arizona to go to their lefty with in AJ Puck. And that was in the 9th inning nonetheless. So Puck comes in, has a clear lane to go lefty on lefty, which is a big advantage in baseball. And he gets Wells to strike out on 5 pitches, Grisham to strike out on 4 pitches. On Wednesday, Arizona goes to A.J. Puck again in the 9th inning with 2 guys on base. He retires Jazz in the lefty-on-lefty matchup. He allows a 3-run home run to Volpe, the only righty. Retires Austin Wells in a lefty-on-lefty matchup. And then he strikes out Dominguez because Dominguez is bad from the right side of the plate. So, and not to mention in the Milwaukee series and also in this series, you're starting to see a theme where the righty bat from off the bench continues to be Pablo Reyes because Cabrera can't hit from the right side either. And the Yankees don't like Peraza for whatever reason. They continuously just don't go to him. And Reyes being average against lefties one time in 2018 is not enough for me. Peraza is a former top prospect. He hit a home run on Saturday and the only at-bat he got. All that stuff, it bothers me. But the bottom line is that Reyes, Peraza, whoever it is, enter bench bat here. That cannot be the savior. That's not good enough. Third base as a whole, they have issues against lefties. And it's a big problem when you have all these left-handed hitters and then your only 2 switch bats can't hit from the right side at all. You know, and you got a guy like Jasson Dominguez is really bad from the right side of the plate. And I don't care about his MLB sample. That's not what I'm pointing to. His whole pro career, he has had issues hitting from the right side. Whether it be low A ball, Florida Complex League, high A ball, Arizona Fall League, single A, double A, triple A, whatever level he's been at. Excuse me. Whatever level he's been at, he's not hit from the right side of the plate. In 2021, in the Complex League and in single A, he had a 533 OPS as a righty. In 2022, in single A and in high A, he had a 777 OPS as a righty bat. Okay. But 2023, double A, triple A in the MLB combined 707 OPS as a righty bat. And then last season, combining single, double, triple A, and in the MLB, a 246 OPS. That's impossible to do as a right-handed bat. I hope that's a typo because I have to look that up because I don't know if it's that bad. And if it is, God, do I hope the sample's that small. But yeah, he struggles as a right-handed bat. 2024, let me see. 246 OPS would be really scary, alarming. Good gosh. I don't know. I don't feel like looking it up, but I'm pretty sure I got that number right. But on Wednesday, yesterday, 7th inning, he strikes out at a curveball, and he's batting from the right side. And it got so bad, like that was with Torey Lovello, Zach Gallen was cruising. And I know he was at 101 pitches, but he pulls Zach Gallen, and you have to think a part of that, at least, was to get Dominguez to flip over to the right side, even if he had his lefty coming in. And then obviously the 9th inning comes and Dominguez strikes out swinging at 2 sliders friggin' beneath the dirt to end the game, right? Just a terrible approach to the plate there. But it's concerning. In baseball, it's all about creating matchup advantages. And I like to compare it to basketball, where creating advantages is just as essential, right? Like the Knicks wouldn't want Jalen Brunson calling a screen that would result in an unfavorable switch for him, right? In baseball, having a switch hitter is pointless if you can't effectively hit from both sides. If a player's skills doesn't match the strategic intent, then the supposed advantage is lost. There's no point. So that's just something I'm going to keep an eye on. Sometimes he looks like he's guessing up there, totally like just relying on luck and running into a bad pitch. He struggles with off speed right now. He's a dead red fastball hitter. It reminds me a lot of Gary Sanchez, and I just don't want him to fall into that boom or bust mentality that Gary eventually fell into, because he's got a very violent swing, quick bat with a ton of power, but there's not a lot of consistency right now, right? On Wednesday, the first at-bat of the game, he strikes out swinging. He misses on a changeup, and then 2 curveballs below the zone. The second at-bat of the game, he strikes out on 3 pitches in the dirt, a changeup, and then 2 curveballs. So it's the approach, man. Sometimes it's not consistent when he gets those breaking balls and off-speed pitches, and it's usually from the right side of the plate where you're seeing him struggle. It's fair to say that it's too early for him to give up, hitting from the right side. I have those same thoughts too sometimes, but like Cabrera gave it up pretty much. And I would rather have Dominguez get additional opportunities from the right side or from the left side I would rather have him get opportunities from the side that he's best at. Give him more reps from that left side to improve. If he ends up booming and he's a hit, do we care if he's this 850 OPS bat from the left side? No, we won't give a shit. But obviously you want a right-handed bat on the team. And maybe he'll get more reps and he'll improve there. But again, like the history of his whole professional career, the track record's not great. At this point, with the Yankees struggling so much against left-handed pitching, I feel like that solution has to come externally. Because the Yankees have a huge issue hitting lefties, and it's doing damage against lefties, right? It's slugging percentage that's been the issue. The on-base percentage was good last year against lefties because opposing managers and pitchers were willing to put Judge on via walk. And they're going to start doing the same thing. And with Goldie also, right? The strategy will be to walk the righties to get to the Yankee lefties. So that's just got to figure this out. But I do, I don't want to say, like, Dominguez had a good series, and I like what I'm seeing with him as a whole. I think he's showing that he's got talent. He looks good. For the most part, he's had some good pitch selection, or pitch recognition. I know in the Brewers series, they kind of just threw him a bunch of fastballs, so it's hard to chase that. But, like, he's been laying off some tough pitches on the outside. He's been drawing walks, and the power is slowly coming around with a double and a home run in this series. Obviously all this stuff is from the left side, so it's the right side of the plate. It's the consistency. It's you're seeing a lot of ground balls still. We've talked about how we want to see him lift the ball in the air and get more loft on the swing, but overall, I like what I'm seeing from Dominguez. It's just I keep an eye on the right side of the plate. But I said I would go back to the bullpen when we were summarizing Game 1 because it's a noticeable trend. And it was a problem last year, and I think it's going to be a problem this year. We talked a lot about it in the winter, how the Yankee bullpen lacks velocity. They don't have anybody that has 97-mile-an-hour heat in their back pocket to go to when they're not locating their off speed, right? And you saw it Tuesday in the 8th inning, where Tim Hill was throwing slop, and then Leiter comes in and he's got no fastball to keep hitters honest with for when he's got no feel of his off speed. And you saw what happens when that's the case. And, with Hill in to start the inning, he gives an 88-mile-an-hour sinker to Grichuk in the middle of the plate, and Grichuk punishes it for a 112-mile-an-hour leadoff double. Gives the same pitch to Perdomo, picks up an RBI base hit to make it 4-3 Yankees. And then when Leiter comes in, he's got, no feel the fastball to Marte. Walks him on 5 pitches. No fastball to Smith either. Walks him on 5 more pitches. He strikes out Naylor on a filthy splitter. But with Suarez up, who's a legitimate bat, he was spitting on the fastball and he was sitting off speed because he knows that Mark Leiter's got no heat in his back pocket. And so Leiter throws a hanging splitter and Suarez hammers it for a grand slam, and Arizona eventually wins the game off of that hit. So I just think the Yankees need more guys with fastballs as a weapon. You saw it again tonight. Yarbrough comes in. He's throwing his 86-mile-an-hour fastball, and he gives up a grand slam. So they don't have a lot of guys whose best weapons are fastballs. They don't have that right now. It's not Devin Williams. He likes that screwball, airbender pitch. It's not Luke Weaver. He sits 95. He likes that changeup. He'll throw the cutter off of it. The fastball elevated is pretty good, but it's not consistently 97, 98. It's not Cruz. He likes the splitter. Mark Leiter's a splitter curveball guy. Ottavino's got that slider. Yarbrough's not a fastball guy. Neither is Tim Hill. There are a lot of off-speed specialists and soft throwers. And really, the only 2 guys when the Yankees are healthy that can throw 98, 99, 100 are Ian Hamilton and Jonathan Loaizaga. And they're going to play big roles if they're healthy. Hamilton's due back very soon. Loaizaga's more closer to the second half of the season. But, people are wondering why, if you're wondering why there were so many walks in this series issued by Yankee pitchers, it's because Yankee pitchers have to spam off-speed and breaking balls because nobody's got a fastball to rely on for strikes. Nobody can land a fastball for strikes in this pitching staff because they don't have the confidence to, because it's not a pitch that's got a ton of heat to it. And to back up the eye test, I went and I wanted to see if I was actually making sense and if I'm not just thinking crazy. Yeah, last year the Yankee bullpen ranked 27th in fastball velocity per Fangraphs. This year so far, the Yankees as a team are 29th in fastball velocity. Their bullpen's 28th, with their rotation, I think the same. We're 29th or 30th. They're 28th in fastball velocity. Their bullpen is. And at least last year, their rotation was top 5 in velo with Luis Gil and Garrett Cole for the second half. This year, they're in the bottom third in both bullpen and rotation fastball velo. That's a problem to me, and they're going to have to figure that out. I love the off-speed stuff. I love the swing and miss stuff they can get with that. But if you don't have something that can blow hitters away with, in today's game, it's going to be tough to really navigate, I feel. Maybe I'm completely reaching here, but I feel like that's important. I just want a couple of that. I don't need an entire bullpen of guys who throw triple digits, but I do need a couple more guys. Let's get to some positive, though, man, because they won the third game. And And even though the Yankees lost the first game of the set, I want to tip my cap to the rookie pitcher, Will Warren. I thought Will Warren was very solid. That's not the right graphic. Yes. I thought Will Warren was very solid in the first game of the series. On Tuesday, he goes 5 innings, 2 runs, 1 hit, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, 1 home run allowed, 85 pitches thrown, and gets the no decision, unfortunately. I wanted him to get that win. Obviously, Mark Leiter had other plans. But I was really impressed with Will Warren's first outing. He throws 5 strong against the top lineup in the National League, going toe-to-toe against Corbin Burnes, arguably the best ace in the league. Very impressed. He mixed up his pitches very well. He went 32% four-seam, 25% sweeper, 21% changeup, 15% two-seam, and 7% curveball. He was staying away from the barrels, got swings and misses. I thought the sweeper was extremely effective for him. The break on it is fantastic. It's got a ton of spin. And he was dropping it in for a lot of strikes, away from righties, in or backdoor to lefties. The sweeper was working for him. I thought the four-seam fastball looked good. Now, the four-seamers, it doesn't have a lot of velo. Early on, he was sitting 94, occasionally 95. As he progressed, it sat more 90 to 92, so it was very low velocity-wise. But the fact that it's low velo, but it still gets great break arm side, and it still spins a ton, and it still gets a lot of swing and miss, that tells me that if he can develop a little bit more arm strength and durability and get that fastball to just 95, 96, that'll be a devastating pitch in the future because it's already getting good results. It's already got life. It's already limiting damage. And then, that change-up curveball combination is going to be his lefty formula, right? And I thought that looked pretty good in this game. He didn't throw a ton of curve, but he got a couple of whiffs to Corbin Carroll in the 5th inning. And the changeup, it's got some good swing and miss on that too. It got a couple of whiffs in this game. But it's the same issue versus left-handed hitters right now. I think all 5, maybe 4 of the 5 D-backs that reached on Warren were lefties. And that's control. Again, he issued a bunch of walks and that 1 home run against their lefties. So some of that's confidence. Definitely needs to get more confidence there. But, the one mistake pitch where he hangs the changeup to Corbin Carroll, who's a lefty, top of the 3rd inning, right? He issues a 4-pitch walk to the number 9 hitter. Can't do that. And then he hangs a 1-0 change to Corbin Carroll for a home run. But other than that, I thought he was sharp, and I'm excited to see what he can bring. And I like that Boone, despite that home run against Carroll, Boone trusted Will Warren, and he gave him that confidence by keeping him in there, allowing him to get the final out against Corbin Carroll in that 5th inning. He eventually gets him, he sets him up. He goes fastball, and then he sets him up to go to a curveball, getting Carroll to strike out, swinging on that. So that's great for his confidence. So Will Warren, 5 strong, gets his first cap tip of the year, and hopefully more, but it just sucks because you absolutely know what's going to happen. Because Clark Schmidt is on the mend, and we love Clark Schmidt, but the problem is the Yankees are going to play politics, and in a world where it's MLB The Show, Carlos Carrasco would get the boot. But because Will Warren has at least one more option, he still has an option, he's probably going to be the one who gets sent down when Clark Schmidt returns, and he absolutely should not if he's still performing like this by middle of the month. But we'll see. I thought Will Warren was great. Tip my cap to you. And while we're on pitchers, let's go to the bullpen, and let's talk about Fernando Cruz, who is going to get his first tip of the cap of the season. He pitched on Tuesday as well. 2 innings, no runs, no base runners, 4 strikeouts. Did he get a little bit of help from officiating, from umpiring? Sure. Was his stuff still filthy? Yes. Top of the 6th inning, he comes in, gets Ketel Marte striking out swinging on a splitter in the dirt. Then he gets Smith to strike out swinging on 3 straight pitches. He goes slider, splitter, splitter in the dirt, swing and a miss. Naylor comes to the plate, grounds out to Goldie off of a splitter. There's your 6th inning. Comes back out for the 7th. Suarez, he strikes out swinging. 3 consecutive splitters. The last 2 of them bit the dirt. And then Marino strikes out swinging on 3 pitches. He goes slider, splitter, splitter, 2 dirt ball splitters again. Absolute filth. I mean, this is a guy who struck out 109 batters in 66 2/3 innings last year with a 59% whiff rate on the splitter. I'm pretty sure league average whiff rate is 25%. So he more than doubled that with that split fastball. The way he's able to go slider early in the count to set up the splitter later, that's it. That's got to be the formula. Don't throw that fastball. Stay away from that fastball. Go to that slider, set up the splitter, and get those swings and misses, man. I'm going to like Fernando Cruz, and I think a lot of Yankees fans will. So, tipping my cap to him, first of the year. And then, we go to the lineup. This was tough. I could have went to a lot of guys. I could have went to Aaron Judge. I had Anthony Volpe's graphic made up because I was about to give it to him. But I ended up going to Ben Rice because I thought Ben Rice had the most productive series for the Yankees. And as you can see on the screen, if you are watching the video format of the podcast, Ben Rice went 3 for 10 this series, 12-17 OPS because he had 2 doubles, a homer, and 2 walks. Scored 3 runs, stole a base in Game 3 we saw, and I thought he turned a nice double play at first base. He's having fun out there, man. You know, he seems happy here. Stanton's hurt, so he gets the opportunity. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe when Stanton returns and if Rice is still hitting by then, they can do a DH left-right platoon. Maybe it's something at first base with him and Goldie. We'll see. A lot of time between now and then. But I like what I'm seeing at the plate from Ben Rice. Most importantly, he's pulling the ball in the air. And he's pulling the ball a lot. And that's going to be important here. And that's why he's already had a home run or 2. That's why he's got some doubles on the wall, because he's pulling the ball and right field is short in Yankee Stadium. So he's taking advantage of that, getting his extra base hits. He's not chasing out of the zone. That's obviously a key component of his game. He's able to draw walks because he's not going to chase garbage, and he gets those extra base hits because he's very aggressive on pitches that are in the zone, and he's a big dude, so he can hit the ball hard. He definitely gained muscle over the winter. So that's something I didn't notice because I didn't watch spring training, but I heard people talking about it. And then when I actually see it watching these games, yeah, the dude's big. So Ben Rice, good for you, dude. Hope you could continue to kill it. And yeah, I tip my cap to you. But that's it regarding this series. That is it. We are going to wrap this one up. When we return from break, we'll talk about what's coming up next on the schedule for the Yankees, who they've got starting tomorrow, and then we'll get to our trivia question to wrap it up as soon as we return. Stay with us. Be back in a minute. Don't have time to sit down and watch a video? You can listen to BD4 on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And you can also watch the video format on Spotify too. If you feel like supporting the podcast, you can Venmo at Robert-Carbone-JR-28. We really appreciate your support. Do you enjoy Yankees baseball but are tired of hearing me yap? I have a suggestion for you. Go check out Yankee Crazy Podcast. Greg Gill is a Yankees podcaster on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and he's now selling merch. Go to yankeecrazy.myshopify.com. All right. Up next for the Bronx Bombers, their first road series of the season. They've got a 3-game set in Pittsburgh starting tomorrow. You got tomorrow a 4 p.m. game where it's Max Fried against the righty Keller. Then it's Saturday at 4 p.m. You got Stroman against the lefty Falter. And then Sunday at 1:30, you've got Warren going back out there against the lefty Andrew Haney, former Yankee bust, if you want to call. Deadline acquisition turned bad. So that's what you got. You're missing Paul Skeens. Unfortunately, I like a challenge, and he's fun to watch. But that's what you've got. A Pirates team that's still trying to figure out, if this is going to be the year they finally win. I feel like they always start out hot and fade. I'm pretty sure they're off to a slow start this year, so we'll see. But, yeah, some interesting start times. It's like a 4:12 tomorrow, then it's like a 4:08. I don't know, it's weird. And then 1:30 Sunday. But Fried versus Keller, Stroman versus Falter, Warren versus Heaney. That's what you've got coming up on the schedule. With 2 lefties this series, you figured, not that it matters now, but you figured that Boone would have waited to give Wells a day off, in one of those these Pirates games, or he could have just given Goldie the day off in the first game of the series. He didn't have to double down, play them, and sit them both today, but that's what he does sometimes. He goes to those punt lineups, but the Yankees won the game. They scored 9 runs. Why am I talking? So let's wrap this up with our trivia now, and then that will be that for this episode. Let's get to the trivia. Okay. So, in this episode, our trivia question of the day for episode 840 here is, which former Yankees pitcher won 3 games in the 2001 World Series against the D-backs? Which former Yankees pitcher won 3 games in the 2001 World Series against the D-backs? A pretty easy answer if you know your Yankees history a little bit, if you've been around. But that's what we've got for this one. Appreciate you all tuning in as always. I'm going to go to bed because it's late and I need to get up early in the morning and take care of some things. So appreciate you all tuning in as always. Always do. Episode 840 is in the books. And go check out my guy Russ Lickey's podcast. He just started one not too long ago at NY Yankee Dad. He's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Check out his Instagram where he's very active over there too. So go check out at NY Yankee Dad. Also on Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. He's got a new podcast. Very good stuff. But I appreciate you all tuning into BD4 here, and I'll see you soon. Go Yanks. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode of BD4.